Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy spooky season. We are going to do horror movie review number 1. So bear with me as I'm figuring this out. But we are going to start with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Which one? The newest one. 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix. I've got my notes here. So the production, it's a Netflix film. It was a Legendary production or something. And golly, one other production company. I didn't write it down as I saw it. The director is David Garcia, and writers are Chris Devlin and Fede Alvarez. Don't know. The ratings that are out there as of now on IMDb, I looked up the ratings before I watched the movie. I will say I probably won't do that the next time because it does kind of get in your head as you're watching and you're like, oh yeah. The IMDb rating was 4.8 out of 10. And the Rotten Tomatoes, the I guess professional rating or whatever, the tomato meter was 31%, which usually, if it has a really bad Rotten Tomatoes rating, it's usually a good movie. However, it also had a 26% rating from the audience score. So I always trust the audience score more than the tomato meter thing. So seeing that before watching it definitely got into my head. We'll get there. So I'm trying to have like rating systems for the reviews. Some of the things that I'm looking at using are a gore meter, a suspense, a creep factor, and overall special effects, whether that's CGI or more realistic. I don't know what the technical term, I'll look that up, type of effects, and giving those a 1 through 5 star rating. Then just kind of a yes or no, if it's predictable, yes or no. And is it relatable? Yes or no? Is the storyline relatable? Are the characters relatable? Yes or no? So I'll get into those ratings after kind of the general review. So it starts out as I feel like every other one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies did. You know, it's city folk going to the middle of nowhere and they interact with some old hillbillies. You know, they bump into the town country bumpkins, and it's just the typical like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're here. Ew, it's so dirty. These people are so gross and backwards. We get it, okay? But going with like the creep factor that I'm going to get into later, typically those interactions in other movies, maybe not in all, but that has worked, you know? It's like, yeah, these people are really backwards, they look inbred. Like, this is more than just stereotype. This is like, ugh, this is creepy. Didn't get that from this. It was just, we're better than you. They think they're better than them. Bullcrap. And then of course, when they go out of the gas station, this gets into the predictability of this movie. They go outside of the gas station to pump their gas. Wouldn't you know it, there's another country bumpkin, but this one's aggressive, and this one's got shit to say, and oh, and so I guess the main characters of the movie, there's 3 girls and a guy. I think all of their pronouns match what they look like. That's what they said in the movie. So, one of them, what was her name? Melody. makes a comment about aggressive country bumpkin, about his gun. Like, yeah, bitch, you're you're in the country. Yes, he has a gun on his hip. I don't know what to tell you. Get used to it. Oh yeah, so they drive off after this just typical interaction. They drive off, and aggressive country bumpkin drives past them aggressively, and then they're the ones that end up getting pulled by the cops. I don't know. It wasn't a very smooth transition. It There wasn't a lot of build up to the cops pulling them over. It just felt like we're getting pulled over now. It's happening. And I even wrote in my notes, and this was literally what I thought was, let me guess, the cops are going to be assholes and or creepy. Yes, that was correct, but they didn't do it well at all. They it was like they weren't directed to be more of an asshole or more creepy. It's like they thought, like, well, maybe that's what we're supposed to be, so they thought about doing it, but they didn't really push to do it. It was nowhere near Arlie Ernie or Ermery. Golly, I don't like getting his name wrong. There's no touching him in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where he was the insanely scary, creepy asshole cop. There's no comparison at all. I think maybe the actors playing these cops wished they were that, but they didn't go for it because they were maybe scared of the comparison. So they're like, we're just gonna do enough to like get paid, make the movie, and go home. Anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, so these four, I don't know how old they're like in their 20s, I guess, and one's still a teenager. They get to this town, which literally just looks like a movie set. It looks like an old country western movie set. They get there, the aggressive asshole country bumpkin's there, and it's like a just rundown little downtown town. And they made the comment, I think the guy made the comment, oh, look, the effects of late stage capitalism. So it's like, okay, haha, not really. Then this same guy and Melody, I don't know why hers is the only name I could remember, the one with the short curly hair, they start going into these houses. I guess they're buying the town. They're just buying a fucking town. Or like there's investors coming in, and it turns out that the investors there's like an auction and they're bidding on the properties. But I guess the plan is they're gonna turn this hole in the wall town into a utopia of communism. I don't know. So they start going into the buildings, I guess, to check it out, because the investors are showing up today to bid on the homes in an auction of a property they've never visited before. Okay, sure. Get down, cat. No, get down. D, stop. I'm not editing this. Where was that? So they go into this one house, and wouldn't you know it, it's occupado. There is some old lady who's just batshit crazy, apparently, still living in this house. I don't know who she was supposed to, well, yeah, whatever. And the guy that just made the capitalism comment, you know, capitalism's so bad. This is, oh, capitalism is the devil. They sit down with this woman, the guy and Melody with the curly hair. And they tell this woman that, like, why are you still here? You can't be here. We own this now. And the woman's like, no, I still have the deed to this house. I still live here because I still own the deed. And Melody proceeds to tell this woman, oh God, what was it? Because the bank reclaimed this home. Do you hate capitalism or no? Like, I thought you were buying this town to turn it into some fucking utopia of non-capitalism, and we're just going to trade and barter sandstone, I don't know, like beads and seashells. But she's kicking this woman out of her house because the bank reclaimed it. Okay. Anyway, I put in my notes, colonizers. Oh yeah, so the whole movie, there's just they bitch about capitalism, they talk about racism, they talk about climate change, they talk about guns, school shootings. They hit them all. If they had touched on anything else, I would have called it Joe Biden. It was ridiculous. There was so much virtue signaling in this movie. It was just, we'll move on. Besides that, the acting was atrocious. Melody, the one and only one that I can seem to remember her name with the curly hair, was so obnoxious. Like that, she wasn't meant to be obnoxious. She was meant to be virtuous, I guess. But she was so damn annoying and so overly dramatic about everything. Everything. The woman that she kicked out of her house ends up dying and she feels personally responsible for it. Don't worry, I'm not spoiling anything. But she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean just okay? Like, we killed her. Like, you didn't kill her. She was an old lady on an oxygen tank and she had a heart attack. Like, chill, you're fine. Just so overdramatic. As far as like character relationship building, her and the sister, they tried to like build that relationship, and there was something about, it seemed like they were butting heads a little bit. Don't know the dynamic of that relationship. They didn't build it well at all. I will say, I think I put it later in my notes, but if you want to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacres that built an amazing, whereas this one tried to do a sisterly bond, you want to talk about an amazing brotherly bond in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, go back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning. Is that the one? I believe so. Yes, from 2006. Eric and Dean. That movie, that scene of them like tied up in the rafters with Arlie Ermery, I think is how you say it, like torturing them. That was so intense, and I felt for them so much as brothers. That was great character building. That was great relationship building. This was not that. This was terrible. They literally, it's like, here's the layout, here's the floor plan. You just need to put this piece here and this piece here and this piece here. And they still just absolutely just, ruined it. Yeah. Um, oh, and so when the woman who owns the house starts throwing up or something, they put her in the back of a van to try and drive her to the hospital. Spoiler, she dies. But Leatherface, who apparently is her son, gets in the van with them, and they're just driving down the road and everything's hunky-dory until she dies, and then shit goes down. I will say there is a lot of gore in this movie, and I think my thought process on this is there has to be a lot of gore in this to make up for how bad everything else is. So if you've got a weak stomach, probably wouldn't watch this. So great for gore, ugh, not so much for everything else. Oh, skip forward. I had a hard time with this movie. Skip way forward. There's a scene, speaking of gore, there's a scene where there's a bunch of people trapped on like a party bus. Leatherface gets on and he goes to town, and it reminds me of, what is it, the opening scene of Blade, where they're in the nightclub. You know what I'm talking about. That's what this reminded me of. So again, gore in this movie was top notch. Very gory, very bloody, very gruesome. But they just totally relied on that. But in that scene, when he first gets on the bus, everyone on the bus stops what they're doing and they do this to start filming him. And one guy said, "Try anything, you'll get canceled, bro." What the fuck? What are you talking about? Like, ugh, the cringe. Oh, no. There was another part. So Leatherface was chasing Melody at one point. She goes up under the house. She's in the crawl space, crawling away. I don't know if I like this scene or not. I didn't initially. I'm trying to think, like, maybe I should be easier on it. I don't know. I just thought it was stupid. He takes the chainsaw, goes through the floors, and then you see the chainsaw like cutting through the floors, chasing after her, crawling underneath the house. And in my head, I know it's a movie. I get it. Like, there's supposed to be some disbelief here, like suspended. But I was just like, there's no way. If you've ever used a chainsaw, there is no way that you are cutting through board after board after board, and what are they called? Joists under the floor. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And you're going to tell me it's going to cut through all of that, but it gets stopped by a metal pipe. It didn't even get stopped by a metal pipe. It did cut through the metal pipe, but then it stopped for some reason right next to her face. When he cut through the metal pipe, I will say, it was definitely a sewage line, and Melody got something she deserved. Yeah, that was something else. Speaking of shit, no, I'm just kidding. I was trying not to think too much of the earlier Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies while watching this. But at one point I just remembered Jessica Biel, because hello, Jessica Biel in, what was it, the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre was like top notch. Oh my god, sex appeal. Like, you say Jessica Biel in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, everyone instantly gets that image in their head. They know. She was beautiful. She was beautiful. Zero sex appeal in this. If you're thinking like, oh, let's see who the Jessica Biel of this movie is, you're not gonna find her. Every character in this was not only unrelatable, they were unlikable, they were snotty, they were pretentious, they were the smartest people in the room, and everyone else was an idiot. I was actively rooting for Leatherface. I know in some horror movies, especially with ones like this where it's a long time villain, you do root for him, but I actively found myself rooting for him, not because he's a longtime character, but because I disliked the other characters so much. It I put, but of course, strong women feminists kill everything fun. So towards the end of the movie, there's Sally, whatever her last name is. She comes back with a vengeance to kill Leatherface. Shoots I guess I am gonna put spoilers in here, but you've been warned. Don't watch this movie anyway. Ugh, save yourself. Sally shoots him, and then Melody shoots him or something. I don't know. Oh, she comes at him with the chainsaw. I don't know. I just put in here, down with the patriarchy. So stupid. That's what I felt like that was saying. It was like, down with the patriarchy. Us strong women are gonna kill Leatherface. And then after this, okay, so they've killed Leatherface because they're strong women. Melody and the sister get in their Tesla, because of course they were in a Tesla, and they put it in autopilot mode, and they start driving off, and they're chatting and they're laughing, and I was like, is this a Tesla ad? What the hell? Because they showed like a real big close-up of the monitor. I was like, is this a Tesla ad? And the passenger window gets smashed out. Melody gets ripped the fuck out of the car. It's on autopilot. So the sister stands up out of the moon, or the roof thingy, the sunroof. And she's looking back at her sister. Leatherface has got his sister. And she's like, no, Melody, no. Leatherface just grabs her curly fucking hair and just takes the chainsaw and cuts her head off. And I wrote, best Tesla ad ever. Oh my God. That was the best ending ever. That was the only ending that I wanted for that movie, and I got it. So I do appreciate that very much. So yeah, spoilers, whatever. Out of 5 stars, obviously I give this a 1. It was terrible. I will never watch it again. Oh, let me tell you all the other little ratings. So for Gore, obviously 5 star. There is a lot of blood. There is a lot of limbs being ripped off and cut off, and chainsaws going through groins. For Suspense, 1 star. Like, I don't think I'm going to do 0 stars, but anyway, 1 star. There was only one part towards the beginning that was suspenseful. So I'm not going to give it extra points for that. Creep factor, 1 star. Effects, there wasn't anything outstanding and just that really blew my mind, but there also weren't any like glaring mistakes or overtly bad special effects. So I did give that a 4 star. For predictableness, yes, it was very predictable. And for relatableness, no, for me, it absolutely was not. If you're a pretentious asshole, it may be relatable for you. But yeah, so that was my review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 on Netflix. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave a comment, and if you'd like to see more of my horror movie reviews, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Bye.